line, boy, it's time to break it down. Grab a mic, kill the stage, yeah, second nature now. Mama said I make a prayer, I told her I made a vow. Just to wait around in the year, I'll put her in a house.
Hey, what's up everybody? This is Nightwing2303 from KicksOnCourt.com. Today I have another performance review. This is part 6 of the Air Jordan project on the Air Jordan Retro 6. So without wasting too much of your time, let's go ahead and get right into it. So the traction surface on the Air Jordan 6 honestly does not look impressive. It is a flat surface. The traction is kind of weird looking. There's no real traction pattern. All it is a mixture between clear rubber and solid rubber with holes in it, basically. You know, it doesn't look good, but on a very clean floor it actually performed pretty darn good. I would say that this actually performed better than the Air Jordan 5, more closely to the not the 1, but the 2 and the 3. The clear soles are just kind of very absorbent, very sticky as far as when there is dust or debris on a court, and I've finally figured out that if you just keep that clean during the games, it will be perfectly fine. You won't have much slip as long as you keep it clean. So that's something that requires a lot of maintenance in game. If you don't have a traction mat, like a sticky floor pad, basically you're just going to want to keep wiping the bottom of the sole. You can also go a step further and get either a lint roller or bring a roll of duct tape with you. I know that it sounds kind of weird and cheap, but I mean it works, and you can get those products at pretty much any store. Just pull off a piece of the tape or roll the lint roller along the bottom of the shoe when you're on the bench or when you're sitting down, and it will really take off all of that debris. So again, if you don't have either of those things, or you don't want to look weird and bring a roll of duct tape with you, which is completely understandable, just keep wiping the bottom of the sole and you'll be perfectly fine. Otherwise you will get a lot of slip, especially on the exterior side, on the lateral, when you are curling around screens or pushing off. Other than that, if you keep it clean, the traction works perfectly fine no matter what you're doing, front to back. Crossovers are great, especially if you rest most of your pressure on the forefoot or the toe where that solid section is, because the solid rubber really takes itself and grips itself to the court, which is something that's very nice, even though there is not a traditional traction pattern whatsoever featured on the outsole. So cushion in the Air Jordan 6, you know, the Air Jordan 5, it was somewhat of a softer polyurethane, so throughout the course of your playing time it does start to soften up a little bit, and you will get a little bit more cushion. This guy here, it kind of goes back to the Air Jordan 3 and 4, where it's a little bit more dense. It does have the air pocket in the heel, and there is one in the forefoot as well. So there is some cushion in there. It's just not abundant as what you'd be used to, like with a today's style game shoe. It uses like lightweight foam like Phylon, maybe Cushlon, EVA, something like that. So it's definitely not the greatest source of cushioning, but it is adequate enough to work. Your forefoot is fairly low to the ground, and if you're a guard, you like court feel, that'll be something that is ideal for you. But on the other hand, the cushion isn't like superb in that section either, so you might want to replace the insole at the bare minimum with something else. Just as an example, I have here the insole to the Air Jordan 2009. You can pick up a pair of 2009s for pretty darn cheap on eBay and all of that stuff, and that'll automatically give you heel zoom in any shoe, and you can even, you know, deal with the lack of forefoot cushion. The foam itself here is fairly nice, and also you can use the insole to any shoe that you wish, like a PU insole from an Adidas line, like Adizero Rose and things like that. Those are a little bit more cushioned. And then you can also use, if you have a pair of older Reebok Questions, those are a very good shoe to pull the insole out and use those in another shoe, and then you can also go and just purchase your own. So there are plenty of options to maximize the cushion in any of your shoes, no matter what they offer you right off the bat. So cushion wasn't great, but it can be worked with, and it wasn't anything that really hindered playing style. It was just more of after games where you have a little bit of soreness within your joints and your knees especially. So the materials on each shoe is going to be different. It depends on the colorway. Some colorways are full-on leather uppers. Other colorways are full-on nubuck, suede, or durabuck, depending on the year of the shoe. And then this guy here is a mixture between the two, where it's got kind of that nubuck. I don't know if this is nubuck, to be honest. I'm just going to call it nubuck. And then you also have the leather here as well. The reason why I like this setup here is because you have the softer material up at the forefoot, so there's less break-in time and it's very flexible, but you still have the leather in the sections where you would need it, so it's giving you a little bit extra support versus having a full-on leather or a full-on nubuck or a full-on suede shoe, which will eventually kind of, you know, get a little bit softer throughout the games, especially throughout the weeks or months that you are playing in the shoe. So in this particular situation where you have multiple options, this was my kind of like in the middle point, where I got a little bit of the good stuff, but again, you got a little bit more support with the stiffer material, which is the leather. So it really depends on what you're looking for, and this for me was ideal. As far as the fit goes, this is a size 9. I probably would have preferred to have had a size 8.5, but even then, the forefoot fit and the midfoot fit is a little bit sloppy. So I had to really tie these shoes up tightly just to get an adequate fit. And then by doing that, it ended up warping the entire shoe shape up at the front or the toe box area. In order to avoid that, eventually I did replace the insole. So this insole here, I did not use it for the purpose of cushion. That was just an added bonus, but I wanted that extra lift that it gives you. So the insole that it comes with, this is the Countdown pack, but it'll pretty much be the same in any of the Air Jordan 6s, where it's just a kind of a thin, cheap foam insert. This is what you get on most of your shoes nowadays. And just that extra thickness, it was able to lift my foot up a little bit higher, and so it made that fit a lot tighter, and it made it a lot more secure. So just by adding something simple like this, not only did I get additional cushion, but I got a greatly improved fit, which is something that I was very happy with. And from that point on, I did not have any fit issues. The shoe was not warped in any way, shape, or form. And not only did I fix the issue, but the fit itself was just greatly increased, and I had a wonderful time playing them after that. So there are minor things that you could do to pretty much any shoe to fix it, no matter the age of the original release. So if it's a outdated tech, you can still work with it and it'll still perform for you perfectly fine. As far as the heel lockdown goes, once that extra insole was put in there, it was perfectly fine. Even without it, it was okay. It wasn't the best, but it was definitely adequate. I do recommend lacing these all the way up to the top. If you lace it to the second line or eyelet, it's just not going to give you enough heel lockdown. It's not really drawing that heel into the back of the shoe enough to where you're going to be secure. So definitely lace these up all the way if you plan on playing in a pair of Air Jordan 6s. So the ventilation in the Air Jordan 6 was actually great. This is probably the best ventilated shoe that they have in the Air Jordan line. Not only do you have perforations up at the collar area here, but you have a nice thin airy tongue that is perforated all the way through. So that gives you some extra airflow. And then the side panels here, those go all the way through. The sleeve is in sections, so the sleeve kind of comes here, it goes there, and then right here it's all open as well, but it is attached at the forefoot. So this space and this space, there's nothing blocking it, there's no airflow restriction whatsoever, and that is on both the medial and the lateral side. So this is probably the best ventilated Air Jordan in the lineup. So as far as support is concerned, kind of goes back to the materials that you use. Because there's not anything truly supportive in the shoe other than the upper and the fit. There's also the molded arch here, but there's no internal shank or anything like that. There is an internal heel cup, but that is probably made out of the same material as the inner lining of the shoe, which in these guys here do happen to be cardboard, so they probably just have some reinforcement in this area there. However, like I was saying, it depends on the materials that you choose. If I would have picked a full-on leather upper, it would have been a little bit stiffer, but a little bit more supportive. Choosing this, it lost a little bit of support, but it still had some in the leather sections, which was nice. And again, once you lace this up all the way, your fit in the heel is much better than if you lace it up one step down. And if you also are able to add some interior thickness with an insole to lift your foot up just a little bit, this material is really going to hug your foot and keep it in place, giving you a better supportive fit overall. Alright guys, so that pretty much takes care of the review on the Air Jordan Retro 6. Overall, it's a decent shoe as is. There are small things that you could do to modify it and make it a greater shoe, such as taking out the insole, giving yourself some extra cushion, and giving yourself some extra lift with a slightly thicker insole. Or you can take care of both of those things by getting an insole like this, which you can find at pretty much any sports store like Sports Authority or Finish Line. And that will not only improve the fit, but the cushion overall itself. So just make sure that when you play with a clear sole, everything is clean and kept clean throughout the game. Otherwise, that clear rubber is going to stick to dust and debris a lot more than a solid rubber would, and you'll get a little bit of slippage if you're not taking care of that issue. So other than that, I think that these are completely 100% playable, and I actually liked playing in the Air Jordan 6, mostly for nostalgic reasons. There are definitely better performance options, but if you wanted to play in a so-called classic, this is definitely one of those classics, and you could definitely play in it with slight modifications. So that pretty much takes care of everything. Thank you guys for all your support, and until next time guys, have a good one.
On the shore or on a coast or an island, and every month I'd hop on a plane to fly in and take her shopping, whatever she wants to buy. Yeah, she made me who I am.